Good morning. Everybody have fun celebrating that Steelers win last night? Maybe looking at you, a few of you, maybe a little too much fun celebrating that. But anyway, I'm Greg Principato, as the voice of God says, president of ACI North America, and it's my pleasure to officially welcome you to ACI North America's 19th annual conference and exhibition. It's great to see you all here in this beautiful city, nicknamed the City of Champions, the Steel City, and the City of Bridges. Most of you know my love of sports and history, so it's no surprise that I enjoy coming here. But Pittsburgh is also an important example of what can happen when a city, its leaders, and its people are committed to transform for future success. Last year, this month, the G20 met in this very convention center. When people asked why Pittsburgh, the White House cited the city's transformation from Rust Belt City to one based on health, education, and technology. The environment is also a major focus, with this facility being the first green convention center in the world and the only meeting venue to be awarded the Gold LEED certification by the U.S. Green Building Council. So I think we can say that this is the greenest and most sustainable airport conference ever. Pittsburgh is also the perfect place to host a conference with the theme of Airports 2010, Managing Challenges and Creating Opportunities. Like Pittsburgh, airports find themselves confronted with many challenges, and we need to ensure that we plan today to take advantage of the opportunities to better serve our customers and communities in the future. This year's program was planned to help you reach that goal, to offer timely and relevant sessions that respond to the unique challenges experienced by airports as the economy slowly recovers, and to offer new ideas and strategies that will help transform the industry for success in the years ahead. Over the next few days, we'll cover a wide range of topics in airport management, including security, the environment, air service development, communications, safety and technology, airport financing, and strategic planning. We have some terrific speakers lined up to provide you the most up-to-date and important information and to provoke your thinking. And of course, please enjoy the exhibition hall, my favorite part of these meetings, to see and experience the latest technologies and trends from the companies that help us take care of our customers, passengers, and employees. We know that this week is not all work, as I alluded to at the beginning, and you'll have many opportunities to enjoy the social events over the next coming days. Be sure to take advantage of the opportunity to reconnect with old friends and meet some new ones. Now, before I move to the next part of the program, I'd like to reflect on the year that we've had and look at what's in store for the industry and ACI North America in 2011. A year ago, we gathered in Austin, and the discussion focused on the effects of the financial crisis on our economy and its impact on air travel. The aviation industry was hit hard, and many communities have been affected. But things now seem to be improving somewhat, though at an anemic pace. The $1.1 billion distributed to airports under the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, the stimulus bill, funded projects at around 300 airports and proving to be a success in generating jobs and economic activity. Perhaps even more importantly, the 2-year waiver from the alternative minimum tax penalty for private activity bonds that ACI North America worked hard to obtain truly breathed life into a bond market that was frozen for airports. And I really have to say, when Kent George, who used to run this airport here, hired me, that was one thing that he told us to go work on, and I'm really proud of what we were able to do there, and we're working very, very hard to extend that waiver and make it permanent eventually. Because of that waiver, as of last month, 126 transactions representing about $15.7 billion in airport bonds have been sold at 55 different airports since the passage of that provision. 79 of those transactions directly benefited from the financial provisions in the bill waiving the AMT. It's resulted in reduced financing costs to airports that can now be used toward airport development and to reduce debt over the long term, and by the way, to create tens of thousands of jobs. As I said, we remain focused on extending that waiver and making it permanent. The President recently proposed additional funding for transportation sector the transportation sector, and the establishment of a national infrastructure bank. I've been around Washington for 3 decades. I've heard the term infrastructure bank some. You might be interested to know. None of us really knows exactly what it might mean or how it might be constructed, but I found out that this idea has been around longer than I have. In fact, Congress once passed an infrastructure bank bill, and in his last days in office, President James Madison vetoed it. So the idea has been around for a little while. We'll have to see what happens. The good thing about it, I told people 2 cheers. Focus on infrastructure, that was great, and including airports. Airports are sometimes an afterthought. Highways and rail and others get more prominent mention sometimes. So two cheers there. But it's no substitute. This proposal is no substitute. I know everybody in this room will agree with this statement for the passage of finally of a long-term FAA reauthorization bill. There's an extension number 16 was passed last week, 16 extensions through the end of the year, and we'll see if we can keep it from being unlucky number 17. While lack of congressional action on FAA reauthorization is a disappointment, airports should justifiably be proud of the industry's efforts to get the bill signed into law. We'll continue our work next year with the 112th Congress, making the case for continuing to increase the passenger facility charge user fee and indexing it for inflation. And we'll also continue our focus on retaining the current aircraft rescue and firefighting standards at airports. This has been a multi-year effort as ACI North America developed the safety and financial data showing that there is no need for any changes in existing ARF regulations. I'm pleased that our work has resulted in support from FAA and many in Congress, as well as recognition in the ACRP study that there's no justification for amending the current standards. ACI North America remains the voice of airports on legislative, regulatory, security, environmental, and legal issues in Washington, making sure that your airport proprietor rights are protected. Whether the issue involves Congress, TSA, DHS, all the Washington acronyms, all the departments that you know, the Environmental Protection Agency is now interested in our business, or the courts, everyone knows that if you need the most up-to-date information on airports, contact ACI North America. Airport work on air traffic modernization is a great example. We've been the industry voice for airports regarding the next generation air transportation system, or NextGen. Our guiding principle in these efforts has been NextGen begins and ends at the airport. We've ensured that airport issues are primary considerations in NextGen development and implementation, and we have strong airport representation on the recently established NextGen Advisory Committee, as well as on a host of other industry committees and panels that have been created by the FAA and others. We understand the need to maintain or even reduce airport costs and your concerns about the ever-increasing regulatory burden emanating from Washington and sometimes beyond. ACI North America provides constructive industry comments to FAA on draft advisory circulars, proposed rules, certification alerts, and other federal guidance. These efforts ensure that regulatory language, which can impose costly or impractical requirements on all of you, does not make its way into advisory circulars. They're supposed to be advisory, not regulatory, and we're working very, very hard on that. On the security side, the in-depth security review task force that we initiated has a similar goal, to make certain that existing or new security regulations are both necessary and effective given the evolution of the threat. The board met yesterday with the new TSA administrator, John Pistol, and had a very, very good chance to get to know him a little bit and present this message to him, and we would look forward to working with him in the new regime there. ACI North America is driving this innovative collaboration, working in partnership with TSA, airport policy and legal representatives, as well as industry colleagues. We expect airports will see the benefits of these efforts later this year with more operationally and cost-effective measures. Our legal victory in supporting the Department of Transportation in the litigation brought by the airlines to overturn the amended rates and charges policy is another important milestone for the airport industry this year. This is a really huge deal. In 2008, the Department of Transportation proposed these clarifications of the rules. The airlines went to court to overturn it, And this was just a really huge victory for airport proprietor rights and your ability to run your business the way you see fit. I don't know if Scott Lewis is in the room, but if he is and you see Scott around, he argued the case on our behalf in the court. And anybody who works at an airport ought to buy Scott a drink for the great job he did. And buy one for Monica Hargrove and James Briggs, too, from our legal staff as well. James doesn't drink, so it'll be a little cheaper for you for him. Now, moving forward, in 2011 and beyond, we will continue to make certain airports have the financial resources necessary to design, plan, and build the infrastructure improvements necessary to meet growing passenger and cargo traffic. We will continue to refute airline misinformation and propaganda about airport resources. Without the work of the ACI North America staff and our finance committee, and Marcia Stone's another one you should buy a drink for, our chair of our finance committee, the airlines would have gotten away with using data that they knew was wrong about airport unrestricted net assets and lobbying against an increase in the PFC user fee. We will continue our important work on next-gen planning and execution, constantly reminding everyone who matters that next-gen begins and ends at the airport. We will continue our work on environmental issues and sustainability. This is an important focus for ACI North America, and the results of our recent benchmarking survey show that airports are going beyond regulatory requirements to proactively reduce the negative effects that aviation can have on the environment. We will continue to work closely with ACI World on the growing number of important global airport issues, including airport economics, environment, pandemic planning, security, and the facilitation of passengers. The ACI World staff, led by Angela Gittins, will be working diligently over the next 2 weeks to ensure airport issues are understood and appreciated at the ICAO, the International Civil Aviation Organization, Triennial General Assembly in Montreal that will be going on these next couple of weeks. ACI World is the airport accredited representative to that body. It's an important body, and that work is critically important. While ACI North America has a knowledgeable and dedicated staff in Washington, I know that much of the credit for our success goes to you, our members. Your support, expertise, and participation in our meetings and committee work are key to keeping us on a successful path throughout the year. For this, we thank you. Many of those victories that I talked about earlier in this talk really came about because you were involved, you picked up the phone, you did the work necessary to make it happen. As we look forward to another great year of serving you, and I should say, too, that we are also, for our Canadian members, we have worked hard as a staff and as a board of ACI North America and the Canadian Airports Council to improve, energize, strengthen, and reorient our relationship between and among our members on both sides of the border. The ACI North America board approved a go-forward plan on Saturday. I'm hoping the Canadian Airports Council board will do the same in about a month, and it's going to make for a much stronger and better ACI North America. I'd be remiss if I didn't at this point acknowledge our member host, Brad Penrod, Executive Director of the Allegheny County Airport Authority, and his wonderful staff, all here in the yellow and in the back and on the sides. In the position that Brad holds, he oversees the operations of Pittsburgh International Airport and Allegheny County Airport. Brad's been involved in civil and military aviation for more than 25 years and is well respected for his expertise. Brad's also a very effective advocate for the airport industry, as shown when he testified last year before the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee on jobs created from funds provided by the stimulus bill. Please join me in thanking Brad, the Allegheny County Airport Authority, and the entire staff for the welcome that they provided us. This past year, I've had the pleasure with working with our 2010 Chairman, Hardy Acree, Director of Airports of the Sacramento County Airport System. Hardy's been a great leader for the airport industry, providing strategic guidance and unwavering support to ACI's programs and to the staff during the past year. It's now my privilege to turn the podium over to Hardy Acree.